Hey, health students, we are into the alcohol chapter, um, alcohol lesson, so to speak. Um, Chapter 21.1. So we're talking about basically just the health risks of alcohol use, so kind of more of the scientific stuff behind it. Some of the reasons why judgment gets impaired, things of that nature at certain levels. So we'll talk about that stuff here as we move on. Alcohol use can harm the body and the brain and cause a person to make poor decisions. So I think that's the biggest thing that we need to understand as teenagers is, yeah, there's a lot of adults that utilize alcohol in a social manner. Sometimes people utilize it and have gotten to the point of addiction. But the biggest thing that we want people to understand is it impairs our judgment. Although sometimes as teenagers, our judgment sometimes isn't always the greatest either. And we talked about that in a previous journal entry, that sometimes we don't always make the right decisions. And sometimes that comes just to maybe not quite understanding the consequences in life. We haven't lived long enough. Our brain's not fully developed. So this makes it even more difficult to make the right decisions. Not only is our brain not fully developed, but now with a chemical like alcohol, it makes our judgment even more impaired. Alcohol is an addictive drug. Using alcohol during the teen years can affect brain development, just like we said. Not only, I mean, there's a reason why back in the 1980s, I believe it's either 84 or 86, when they changed the drinking age from 18 to 21. 21, your brain's not fully developed either, but at least you're just a little bit closer to age 24 or 25 when your brain is fully developed. So that is, it can really stifle or slow down brain development if alcohol use becomes, I guess, more during teen years. That can cause some serious problems of development. Alcohol, or more accurately, ethanol is powerful and addictive drug. So that's what we're talking about, the type of alcohol that is in alcoholic beverages.
The type of alcohol in alcoholic beverages.
Okay. Ethanol is produced synthetically or naturally through the fermentation of fruits, vegetables, and grains.
Fermentation, the chemical action of yeast on sugars.
Okay, there are short-term and long-term effects of alcohol use. Alcohol impairs the central nervous system. So using alcohol slows down your reaction time, it slows down and impairs your vision, and it diminishes your judgment. You make judgment decisions slower, and maybe have to contemplate what you're going to do for longer, especially driving or operating some kind of motor vehicle, you're not making decisions quick or fast enough to be able to, especially moving at high speeds like in a vehicle. Okay, alcohol is a depressant.
Depressant, a drug that slows the central nervous system.
Okay, again, which is why it makes it difficult to make decisions, and why it slows it down is because the alcohol is a depressant. The amount of alcohol that can cause intoxication varies from person to person. So really, it's different for each person depending on gender, depending on body size or body type, depending on how much body fat or what somebody's BMI, body mass index, is. Typically, somebody that has more body fat tends to become intoxicated sooner or quicker than somebody that has a less body fat. So somebody that is more muscular, rather than somebody that has a higher content of body fat.
The state in which the body is poisoned by alcohol or another substance, and the person's physical and mental control is significantly reduced.
So like I mentioned just a second ago, Take me, for instance. I'm about 235 pounds. Okay, if you had somebody standing next to me that was 235 pounds, but they were shorter, with more body fat, and then you look at me that is a little bit taller, that might have a little bit less body fat, that person is going to get intoxicated sooner or quicker than somebody with my body type. Okay, so short-term changes to the brain. Again, just thinking about short-term development, memory, judgment control, risks of stroke. Okay, you can take a peek through any of these sections here as you see them up. Okay, cardiovascular changes, short-term changes to the heart. Okay, small amounts of alcohol can increase heart rate and blood pressure, which obviously is going to put strain on the heart. Liver and kidney problems. In the short term, toxic chemical that releases as the liver metabolizes alcohol. So these chemicals cause inflammation and scarring of the liver, and too much of that over time is going to cause problems. Okay, it's going to cause problems with the kidneys. Alcohol causes kidneys to increase urine output, which can lead to dehydration. Okay, digestive problems. The stomach, the alcohol increases the stomach acid production. It can cause nausea and vomiting. Okay, pancreatic problems, short-term causes, can cause pancreatitis. Consuming large amounts of alcohol can quickly cause pancreatitis, which results in acute and severe pain. Can have nutrient absorption. The pancreas produces enzymes that break down nutrients in foods, and alcohol can disrupt that and absorb the nutrients so that your body doesn't get the nutrients that it needs. Okay, like we said before, factors that influence alcohol effects is body size. A smaller person feels the effects of the same amount of alcohol faster than somebody that is a larger person. Okay, gender. Alcohol generally moves into the bloodstream faster in females than it does in males. Food in the stomach slows the passage of alcohol into the bloodstream. So if somebody hasn't eaten, they're going to become intoxicated faster. Okay, the rate of intake, drinking alcohol faster than the liver can break it down, can lead to intoxication quicker. Okay, the amount of alcohol consumed increases. The level of alcohol in the bloodstream starts to rise. Okay, people that are on medications, alcohol can interfere with different types of medications and medicines that people are taking and can heighten the effects of alcohol. Okay, so alcohol and drug interactions can lead to serious illness and death. So when a doctor says that this particular medication that somebody might be on could cause serious problems as far as mixing with alcohol, I would take those considerations very seriously, even obviously even going into adulthood. Medicines that can cause reactions, warning. Usually there's some warning labels that advise people not to use alcohol, but of course doctors, when prescribing these things, will always talk about certain things that shouldn't mix with alcohol. So we talked about the short-term effects. We'll get a little bit more into the long-term effects. Alcohol use can cause negative effects on a person's health over a period of time as well too. Alcohol use can have long-term effects on a person's physical, mental, emotional, and their social health. Okay. Alcohol addiction can have some serious problems. Dependence can make the user unable to control his or her use of alcohol. Okay. Loss of brain function, verbal skills, visual and spatial skills, as well as memory can be delayed. Okay, brain damage. Excessive use of alcohol can lead to brain damage and a reduction in brain size and learning ability and memory of adolescents who drink or teenagers who drink. Small amounts can even be impaired too. That's where we talk about the brain development. Cardiovascular, long-term of alcohol use can have heart damage. Okay, the heart muscle becomes weakened and the heart becomes enlarged, reducing the amount of blood that it can pump. It can cause obviously blood pressure problems. High blood pressure, increasing blood pressure damages the heart and can lead to heart attack and stroke. Okay, liver and kidney problems can cause what's called a fatty liver. Fat builds up in the liver and cannot be broken down, leading to cell damage. Alcohol hepatitis. The liver becomes inflamed or infected, or cirrhosis of the liver. That's liver tissue that is replaced with useless scar tissue. Cirrhosis can lead to liver failure as well as death. Digestive problems, irritation of the stomach lining can lead to stomach ulcers and even certain types of stomach cancers or esophageal cancer. Okay, and swelling of the pancreas lining. Passageway from the pancreas to the small intestine can become blocked so that chemicals needed for digestion can't pass the small intestines properly. And then chemicals become destroyed. The pancreas can destroy the pancreas itself, causing pain, vomiting, and severe cases of pancreatic swelling. And that can lead to death. So again, over the long term, the effects of alcohol can have some serious damaging effects that can cause some real big problems moving forward in life. If a person stops using alcohol, some of the effects of the long-term use can be reversed over time. Okay, it just depends on how long somebody's been sober for. Okay, the negative effects of alcohol use can also include damage to relationships with family, friends, and others. And that's where people tend to find some of the biggest issues with this even sooner than they find some of the long-term effects happening. Relationships become damaged because of decisions and choices and consequences to some of those decisions and choices that they make. Ruins friendships and ruins families. Okay, binge drinking and alcohol poisoning, consuming large amounts of alcohol over a short period of time can be fatal. Some people choose to drink large amounts of alcohol during one session, and this is where it becomes very dangerous, especially students going off to college and getting involved in house parties or drinking large amounts in a short period of time. This is where alcohol poisoning becomes very evident and becomes a huge problem in college setting. Understanding how to consume alcohol in a responsible way at the right age of 21 and higher, and understanding the amount of alcohol that somebody can have so that there's a small amount of impairment over time. But even understand something, that even though you're monitoring how many drinks you've had in a period of time, you have to take into consideration, did you eat that day? You have to take into consideration how well did I sleep the night before? How late is it at night? There's so many factors that fall into it. And if those things are not paid attention to, you can throw out the idea of trying to pace yourself. Okay, so really making responsible decisions after the age of 21 and monitoring, watching the clock and understanding how to consume amounts of alcohol when somebody is the proper age. And that's why this becomes such a difficult thing, because when students go off to school, when they get into sometimes people get into a party routine, all things go out the window when people start to consume things over and over and over again. And that's why they say the decisions that we make between the ages of 21 and 25, drinking alcohol, still, I don't care if you're 21 years old or not, you still don't understand or comprehend how it affects the body. So binge drinking can have severe impairment in a drinker's body systems.
Binge drinking. Drinking 5 or more alcoholic drinks at one sitting.
Okay, binge drinking can lead to alcohol poisoning, like we said. Somebody who consumes so much alcohol in a short period of time, that can have some fatal results.
Alcohol poisoning. A severe and potentially fatal physical reaction to an alcoholic overdose.
Okay, effects of alcohol poisoning. It's dangerous to assume that a person has passed out after consuming a large amount of alcohol. It's dangerous to assume they're going to be fine and sleep it off. If somebody's passed out from drinking large amounts of alcohol, it's important to monitor that person. Okay, if you suspect that person has alcohol poisoning, like if anybody passes out from drinking alcohol, I'd be really concerned. I'd be concerned and thinking, okay, what do we do here? And what do we do here? If you have any suspicion of it all whatsoever, 911 right away. Okay, symptoms of alcohol poisoning: hypothermia, low body temperature, mental confusion. Okay, coma, inability to